Hello and welcome to another Unmasked episode of So What's on Your Mind? I'm your host, Lamar Barrett, and today we are sitting down and speaking to one of the best project management professionals in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia, which is the DMV area to everyone who lives here. She has more than 20 years of project management experience. She also has more than 15 years at the national level and has been solely responsible for projects in excess of $15 million. We're here today to actually just find out about what's going on in her world, from politics to life, education, sports, music, health, or anything she wants to talk about today. Today's guest is a young woman, and she'll appreciate that as much as she talk about. I'm older than everyone else, but today she's very educated in various areas with a Bachelor of Science degree in Communications Media, MBA in International Finance, and she holds a Master certification in Project Management. She is a co-founder of financial services mortgage company, where she originated mortgages. She has also been a teacher in the public school system, where she taught ROTC students financial fundamentals, and she taught financial literacy to high school students. She was the founder of a certified minority and women's enterprise in the state of Maryland. So, and that was construction company. So, I mean, she's doing a lot of things. Currently, she is working as a loan officer, and she's very involved with the Cancer Connection Resource Center, where she is co-founder. She's the co-founder. I want to say, and this is a woman I've gotten to know probably the last month, not even 6 weeks, and through another group that I'm with, and she brings me so much energy. She has a lot of knowledge, and I had to bring her on to the show. I want to welcome to the show Mrs. Barbara Grant-Proctor. So, Barbara, what's on your mind?
Thank you, Lamar. I was so appreciative when you asked me to actually come on the show, because I always got something on my mind. No matter where I go, I always got something on my mind. And so, even when you asked me to come on the show, I know the main thing that I want to talk, about. So let me give you a scripture first. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, and it's usually rendered as my people perish for lack of knowledge. And I'm a firm believer on, educating and giving people the tools that they need to financially succeed with whatever they have going on. And, back in 2008, where we had the mortgage crisis, so many people lost their homes unnecessarily. And I'm talking about people of affluence and influence. And, they lost their homes unnecessarily. And because they didn't know what it was they needed to do to make sure that they kept their home. But let's come into today, what I want to talk about. The past 2 years with COVID, it's been hard on people. I've lost people, and I know everybody lost people, and I'm so sorry to that. But I also want to look at these past 2 years. People should have really been able to get out of financial restraints. I'm not only talking lower middle class, I'm talking upper class too, because a lot of people, what I call, suffer in silence. And these are people that are walking around, they're smiling, they make you feel that nothing is wrong with them. Where inside they're crying and they're like, somebody look at me. Can somebody help me? Can somebody tell me just what to do? Just little things. And, normally you would think, when people have great careers and they're going on with their lives and they're doing things, you always think like, wow, they just really got it going on, until something, a catastrophe happens. And then you may find out they didn't have it going on as much as they thought. But I just wanted to share a little bit today my rationale with all of this in the past 2 years. And I was able to tell, several people about it, probably within 6 months to a year of it. And, then we had a whole nother year, 2020, 21, that we actually went through this. But this is the way I look at it. So during that time, there were a lot of laws and a lot of things that were put into place. So if you were a homeowner, your mortgage company will allow you to skip your mortgage. Sometimes 3 months, you go back to them again, they do another 3 months, go back to them again, they do another 3 months. So we're talking about a year, year and a half, 2 years of skipping your mortgage. So when you're not paying your mortgage, they're putting it on the back end because there were guidelines for that. That's cash flow that you coming in the house. Now, it may be somebody in your household lost a job, I don't know. But even if that's the case, I know in this area, some people were sitting home making almost $1,000 a week. Okay, with unemployment, with everything that they gave you, and then the stimulus money that they gave you. So let's look at, you're not paying your mortgage, so now you have a little bit of extra cash flow. Let's talk about the people that are renters and they're renting from companies. There were a lot of guidelines that put in place that if you didn't pay your rent, you could not be thrown out. Not only that, those companies were able to go and get financing or help and grants to help them with the people that were not paying their rent. So they weren't losing out on anything. So you're sitting there, you're not paying your rent. And instead of you worrying about, oh my goodness, what are they going to do? And not understanding what is exactly going on in this economy, you could have been helping yourself. Then we got the private landlords that have homes, they're investors, they're renting out to people. They couldn't put people out either. So if your renters decided that they didn't want to pay you, instead of you having a fit over it, you go to the mortgage companies and you do what people that own homes do. And you had your money put on the back end, or you could ask for a forbearance and paid for it when the renters finally paid you. There were things that everybody could have done. So with that, they could have taken that money and they could have slowly start paying off their debt. And they could have slowly start turning their lives around. Even the credit agencies put new guidelines in place. Some of the collections, once you paid them off, after 30 days, they dropped off. All you had to do was ask them, are you one of the ones that will drop off? And if not, well, there's things that you do with credit to help yourself. I'm not going to go through a credit spiel here, but there are things that you do to help get your credit back on track. Let's talk student loans. For almost 2 years, they have deferred student loans. So if you were already upside down with your student loan, you had 2 years to get it right because it was deferred anyway. And now you're back on track. And I think it's this month or next month that they want payment to start because Biden came in and he kept pushing it out. So there really is no reason why some people could not have made it through this and could have financially turned themselves around. But instead, they chose to continue to suffer in silence. And I'm a big advocate for people to suffer in silence. So every time I see somebody smile, I don't always think, oh, everything is just going well with them. And so we have to learn how to really be nice to one another and realize that every smile does not mean, hey, I'm okay. And I know people, they don't want to tell their business to certain people. They don't want to, go to family or friends and tell what's going on. But I'm here to say, seek somebody out that you think, whether it's a financial counselor or somebody's being referred to you. Look, last Friday, I had an investor call me. He called me because somebody from a whole nother state called him because she was going to foreclosure on Tuesday and she didn't know what to do. And I'm like, why are you just calling me? We could have handled this a month ago. He said, well, I just got the call, but I think she wanted him to pour some money into that. He couldn't do that. So he turned around and he called me. Well, there was only one option at this point because she was supposed to go to foreclosure on Tuesday. And that's to go to the courts to get a stay and either file for Chapter 7 or Chapter 13. And that's another thing. We as a people, I'm going to us now. You know, we're so afraid of the chapter 13 and the chapter 7. And you know what I used to hear? Because I don't want my credit messed up. Well, if you're a candidate for chapter 7 or chapter 13, guess what? Your credit's already messed up. So I never understood that logic. I'm not an advocate for bankruptcy, but if it's to the point where you have no other way out, that may be a suggestion. And it just baffled me. Our ex-president, when he said on the television and he said, yeah, I filed chapter order, there's 7 times. You put the laws in, set up. And only thing I could think of, other than thinking of, is he saying this on national television? The only thing I could think of, my God, who's listening? Who is listening to what he is saying? And one thing I know, we can be proud. We're proud. But it's one thing to be prideful. So my thing today, what's on my heart, is you don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to suffer alone. Seek out somebody. I don't care whether it's an accountant, a financial person that you know, somebody. I get referrals all the time. People calling me, they need modifications. They need their credit. They just need. And it's not unbelievable to me, but I know for other people, they think that they're the only ones that are suffering in silence. And you're not, because there's plenty of people of affluence and influence is also suffering in silence. So I just say today, reach out to somebody. You don't have to do it alone.
Man, that was awesome. That was powerful, very informative. Like you said, there's so many people that do suffer in silence. And I mean, you know, everybody being, like you said, being proud is one thing and being prideful is another. I mean, that's a deep subject, and I'm sure a lot of people will take your message away from this, and hopefully they seek some help and getting their finances back on track. So yes. I want to thank you this morning for that.
Well, thank you for having me, Lamar. I appreciate it.
Okay, you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.